Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast. No more excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. And if you're new to me, new to the podcast, thank you. Well, thank you for everyone that's listening. But if you're new, please check out my website, badassbusiness.coach. I help people realize their badassness so they'll do more, be more, and achieve more, especially during this still continued crazy, uncertain, maybe we're opening but we're not sure, going back to work but part-time or half capacity, I don't know. And wherever you are in the world, we're all in a different seat on the roller coaster and in a different spot on the ride, aren't we? But we're all in this together. And I just hope you're staying healthy and continuing to do your best. So I appreciate you. And again, thank you for continuing to reach out to me on social media. And, well, I don't know about you, but I am still full, maybe still a little indigestion from last week's, as I found out reaching out to a friend of mine in the UK. I was like, hey, come on to my Cinco Zoom party. She's like, what's Cinco? Forgot Americans. Cinco de Mayo. We could not get out, and I'm really bummed because I love Mexican food, but I just love the energy and just having fun, and I was really looking forward to just getting out, right? So we cooked all day, and even the days before, leading up to Cinco de Mayo, I had margaritas. I had nachos, lunch nachos, sometimes breakfast nachos. It was kind of like pre-gaming for Cinco de Mayo, and then we cooked all day, made way too much food, so of course I ate leftovers for breakfast and lunch the rest of the week. And so now I'm having salads and yeah, but it was fun. It was fun to have a Cinco Zoom party. I had friends that popped on, like I said, all over the United States, all over the world. Even if they popped on and said hi, cheers, talked about whether they were doing their best, not doing their best, and just where they were. It was really fun. Had a lot of friends just from childhood on up. So it was a really cool way to connect. And it is all a mindset right now. And I believe it is National Mental Health Month. Whew, it's still, like I said, a crazy time. And, some people I've talked to are going back to work or have started to go back to work. And so it's now we've done the purging. When everyone, this first happened, I saw so many people, like I've talked about, purging the closets, the kids' toys and clothes. And it was like spring cleaning time, and it was crazy. And then last week, I talked about purging professionally, getting ready for this re-emergence, right? You know, some states have announced plans, and in California, I don't know what the hell is going on. I guess we have a plan, but I don't understand it yet. But that's okay. We need to be prepared professionally, personally, professionally, and mentally for this reemergence into whatever this is, right? So, last week was professional. I suggested and challenged you on social media. Take that stack of business cards, for those of you who have business cards still, and sort through them. If you don't know the person or it doesn't serve you anymore, get rid of it. What about the piles of papers that, everyone has, that either a drawer or a filing cabinet or a shelf, something where they put piles, I'll get to it. So I challenge you to go through that. And, even file folders. I personally have binders from years of my coaching groups, my accountability groups. And I went through and I was like, okay, that group ended 5 years ago. Now, some of this stuff I like to keep because there's notes and things from clients that come back. And there's also activities and worksheets. So I went through all of those and got everything just sort of cleaned up. So I am mentally prepared for the reemergence as well. And again, that was what that activity was about, going through that thing. Because you know how you felt when you cleaned out your closet or purged some of the kids' toys or clothes or even your own. You know how you felt mentally there, right? The same should happen with professionally. Getting rid of the clutter, straightening that picture, getting rid of the file folders that you don't need, getting rid of the email contacts and social media contacts of people you don't know or don't serve you anymore. So how did it make you feel? Right? And now with this re-emergence, and I've talked to people and I've read on social media, people are up in arms and freaking out about now the stores opening and should they, shouldn't they? They're still afraid to go out, and that's okay. If you're afraid to go out, or if you have a chance of getting sick because of your health compromise or whatever, I don't know if it doesn't matter. If you're afraid of going out or you're afraid of getting sick, then that's okay, and stay home. Or if that's okay, wear a mask. And if you're not afraid and you don't want to wear a mask and don't legally have to, then don't, right? Quit judging, quit shaming. But mentally, we need to prepare for that. And so this week, I asked a friend of mine, a life coach and a mental health professional, Chandra, to come on and give some tips on clearing the mental clutter and shifting that mindset. So when you do go out and you see groups of people and you have to go back to the office or go to the store and there's more people, that you're mentally prepared for that as well, because that can really screw with you as well. So I wanted to ask her to come on and do that so we can, again, just mentally prepare ourselves and declutter our minds, just like we've done with our home and our offices, so we're prepared for this reemergence. Because we all need to continue to do our best, and mentally is the next step. So listen and take Chandra's advice, and if you need to get a hold of her because you have a question, her website is, and it's ChandramEdina.com. All right, so here's Chandra. Listen in, take some advice, and I look forward to hearing from you on what you're doing, where you are. Are you back to work, and how are you handling this mentally? All right, take it away, Chandra.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Sandi, for having me on. So, as far as the topic of decluttering your mind, I will tell you this. In theory, it sounds great. Like we can Marie Kondo our closets, and whatever doesn't bring us great joy, we can just toss out, and it's kind of a done deal. It doesn't necessarily work like that when it comes to our brains. So our brains are connected to our emotional responses. So we're going to need something to replace those old thoughts, habits, and patterns. One of the first tips that I always tell everybody is to identify what it is, what beliefs or thoughts that are no longer serving you. Your brain loves lists, so it's really important that you write them down. So there's probably going to be a few. So some examples are, do I always think of the worst case scenario? Or I often worry about what others think about me. I only notice the negative in people's situations or myself. And when you do that, I want you to also identify the emotions that you notice that come up with each of those thought patterns. And the next step would be about identifying what is the opposite of that thought pattern and the opposite of those emotions. So, for example, the opposite of thinking only the worst case scenarios would be thinking the best case scenarios. So some emotion that would be connected to that would be like connected to the worst case scenario, you're probably going to feel some fear or dread. But if you are, switching that to start looking at what could possibly go right, then those emotions would probably be excitement or hope. And I always say it could be because nobody's experiences are the same. So there's no right or wrong way to feel. You just have to know what it is that you're feeling. And then now that you've been able to identify the differences, you have to actively spend time practicing the opposite. So 95% of our thought processes, our behaviors, and our words are subconscious, which means this is all habits. Most of the time, we don't even realize that we're doing them. So the only way to get rid of these things is to actively replace it with something else. I know it sounds easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm working on letting go of this. But the truth is when I ask people, oh yeah, how are you doing that? Most people have no clue. So we need to be able to replace it with something. And the more that you actually replace it and increase your self-awareness and start actively replacing those thought patterns and those habits, what's eventually going to happen is you will see the old ones disappear. And so it's all about switching your focus. It's all about switching your mindset as far as what it is that you are creating in your brain and creating new neural pathways to get the new thought patterns. And again, that's the active process of how you let go.
Thank you, Chandra. I mean, that is a lot to take in, and that was a lot of what she and I talked about crammed in to just a quick clip. So thank you very much. And to all of you listening, again, if you want to dig deeper into your business or you're pivoting, reach out to me, badassbusiness.coach. And please feel free to comment here. And if you need Chandra, it's ChandramEdina, yes, MEDINA, sorry, .com. Again, do your best. And that was great tips on as you're getting out there and doing more and seeing people, switching your mindset so you don't think, oh my God, people are too close or I might get sick. Start replacing it, like she was saying, with more positive and what could go right and what will go right. All right, have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Keep doing your best. Cheers.